Hey, so there's a number of videos out there on polishing hard plastic, like headlights and lenses and stuff like that. But today I'm going to make a video on polishing soft plastic, and by that I mean the colored stuff like that you'd have on your dirt bike and ATV. So I can buy new plastic for this bike, but if I want to keep the original style gas tank, then I'm going to have to polish the old one. So that's my whole motivation for figuring this out. There are some techniques out there to get the shine into plastic, and one of them is getting the plastic nicely sanded and then using a heat gun to try and extract some of the original shine. And it has some results, but it's not really 100% effective. It doesn't really get all the shine back. And then there's there's a product out there that when applied on nicely sanded plastic, it acts like a clear coat. But the thing is, if I would use that product on my gas tank, the gas can literally destroy that finish, and plus also your knees can wear through it like while riding. So that wasn't really what I'm after either. I want just the original raw plastic and polished. So I did some experimenting on the rear fender, trying to develop a good technique for polishing. Turns out what it likes is just if I would use a dry buffing wheel with no polishing compounds, anything like that. So here's two areas I did. This one I prepped and polished on video, so I've got that in the archives. I'll dig that up and I'll put that in this video. So pretty good shine. I actually think it's like factory. So you can see the reflection in there. So, but there's a pretty good layer of old plastic that I had to strip back first. You can see I can just damage it with my fingernail, you know. So this spot here I prepped with sandpaper only, and this one here I prepped with a blade first and then I sanded. So the shine is pretty much the same on both, but I was using a blade like this, so it's easy to cut yourself with something like that, but might be safer to use something with a blade holder for stripping that plastic back. So let's go back into that old video and have a look at what happened there. I'm going to do a spot here, going to get it all polished up for you guys, and there's some pretty deep scratches here on the top of this fender. I'm going to be over center towards me, and then I'll just lightly start scraping away here. And then it doesn't take long and the original color starts to come around. You see all that old plastic coming off of there. And the original color is really coming around. This blade, it wouldn't work very good in an area where there's a lot of, tight spots like that. Okay. Okay, so I sanded this with 220 and then to 320, and then I finished it off with 400. Okay, so bare plastic, there's no additives, no polish, no nothing like that. And back to this tool here. Initially it wasn't working out too well for me, but it was more technique than it was the tool itself. So I'm not going to attack the plastic head on like this. I'm going to go right from the side and very lightly, and then not spend a lot of time in one spot because the plastic heats up. So here goes. Okay, so here you can compare my new Yamaha fender to the part that I just polished. And as far as the gloss, I think it's pretty well the same. The difference here is I still got some scratches in the old fender because I could have spent a bit more time with the blade getting those out of there. But I just learned something new about this technique. I stopped after a few minutes and then I put my hand on the plastic just to check how much heat I'm putting in there, and it was still cold. So that gives you an idea how much pressure I'm putting on the plastic. And if I go a little bit too heavy on the pressure, then it starts to get dull and it works against me. So I've gained enough confidence in this technique now to tackle the tank. This is the kind of buffing wheel that I was using in this video. So since that video was shot, I used it for something else, so now I've got it kind of old and grimy. I got a polishing compound on here now, not for plastic but for something else, so I'll probably have to go back to a brand new one now for doing more plastic. But let's have a look at some sanding techniques. So this area here, it also got the blade treatment, and when I put my hand on it I could just feel very slight ridges from the blade as it was working and removing material. So what I'm using on this is a block that I picked up at the local hardware store or a building store. This is actually for drywall, and it's got different contours on it. 150 grit, and it actually worked really nice for knocking this down. I would sand it like in an X pattern, like as if I was doing auto body, you know. And because it's a 150 grit, it doesn't take long and it removes some material. And also for areas where you can't really do with a blade, it will take that plastic off fairly quickly. So I'll show you right in this area here where I haven't removed anything. I'm going to get down to the original plastic just with this block, with the 150 grit. So almost right away you can see the original color coming back. You can see it sands very quickly. So like I say, for an area where you can't use a blade, you know, if you'd use a blade in here you'd be gouging and doing more damage than good. But now with the block, see, I can get in areas where I couldn't before with a blade, so that I can get it ready for polishing, you know. So I've got maybe 2 or 3 minutes worth of block sanding here in this area to get that old stuff off of there. And if I was going to actually use this fender, I'd make sure that, you know, I'm down to the scratches that I want to have removed and stuff. And from there I can move up to the 220, then 320, and then the 400, all wet sandpaper. And I spent quite a bit of time with the 400. That's the last sand, you know, and that's got to be really smooth.